Is Assetto Corsa EVO's 0.5 update game-changing? Has it redeemed the despair and sadness that many people are feeling over the nuclear destruction of the single player that Kunos announced earlier this week? And what can you expect from the 0.5 update? Well, that's what I'm going to be answering in this video, following on from our live stream where we tested out the update. As always, if you like sim racing, flight simulators, and feeling mildly depressed, subscribe so you can then unsubscribe and maybe give the like button a little tickle if you feel like it. So first things first, for those of you that can't be bothered to look at the changelog, this update does bring really high quality version of Paul Ricard, everyone's favourite airport stripy flat racetrack, and Watkins Glen, which is actually a very good racetrack. So it brings 2 tracks and then 9 new cars. Audi Sport, BMW M2, Caterham 485 CSR, Dallara EXP, which looks totally mental, Porsche 911 GT3 RS 992, Toyota AE86 Sprinter Torino, Volkswagen Golf, and that's it. There's also been updates to existing cars, improvements to the differential, and a whole bunch of like tweaks and polish. Kunos also said that they optimise things, but so far the reports we're getting is that many people are not noticing any real improvements in performance. I'm on a really budget 5090 with a 5950 XRED chip, and it's running really good for me. But yeah, I think people that have normal computers are still really struggling with this title, so don't expect a miracle from this update in terms of performance, which I think was actually one of the biggest things that people are really looking for, is this game to run a lot better and to run a lot better in VR. But if that's your goal, play the original Assetto Corsa. It's incredible in VR, runs really nicely, even if you're playing it on a mildly baked potato. Now, before we delve into the negatives and the controversial views that you expect from this channel, first I have to say the positives. Having jumped onto this update and having not played Evo for a while, so this was like a sort of nice refresher of Evo land. And I have to say, sound absolutely superb with lots of the vehicles. Some of the vehicles not as good sound as others, but generally speaking, the audio in this game really nice. If you've got a supercomputer, the lighting, the graphics, really nice shading, reflections of the road surface, really nice look to stuff. Car models, all the new cars, the models are just bloody gorgeous. The details, they look fantastic, especially when you're looking at them in the garage showroom area. Absolutely beautiful. Unfortunately, if you want to do the multiplayer, you can go through their server browser and join weirdo servers that are all set up wonky, or you can do their daily races, but again, unfortunately, it's through a separate website at the moment. I believe in the future they will integrate it into the game, but right now you have to go to a separate site and you have to even copy the information into the game to join the server, which is super weird and janky. You would have hoped that they would have dialed that, made it seamless by now and integrated it for this update, but no, that's all the same as it was before. But having said that, we had a nice race. We did three races actually through that system, through the daily race system, and they went pretty well. It was a good fun drive. Netcode was nice, other players were in there, people were actually driving really sensibly. That was really quite nice and fun. So the basics of the game generally are working quite well now. Also, didn't have any crashes or weird stuff happen, so that's pretty good. It's kind of where you'd expect a 0.5 of a early access game to be, in a sense, but it really is very similar to how the 0.4 was. So people that were looking for something exciting or a progression, there really isn't much of one in this update. And many people, with the removal of the XP system and the announcement that they're not going to do that kind of Gran Turismo type unlock car gameplay, many people are now also just incredibly depressed that it looks like Evo is going to have the same rather dull single player that the first AC had, where it was just a bunch of races and missions and you know, not really tied together with any real game mechanics and tracking. So that is what it is. On the plus side, though, that does mean when you load the game, you don't have to choose between the single mode and the open mode, and that reduces confusion. And maybe, who knows, maybe Kunos can do something exciting with the single player anyway. But you can't tell from this update, there really isn't anything particularly exciting structurally or gameplays-wise with this update. Think of it as a content drop for the cars and the tracks. If you're already a fan of EVO, you probably still enjoy it. If you weren't a fan of EVO, you could still wait. Don't just play the first one. For EAC1, you know, you're not missing out on much. Now, to comment on the handling, not noticing mega changes from the previous version. Maybe some of the cars are a little bit easier to drive in some ways. The MX-5 is a little bit less finicky on the throttle. It's the same process as before. It seems like the cars handle quite nice on the brakes into the corner. You can trail brake and rotate the cars, especially some of the slower road cars, nicely on the brakes. But the sort of mid-corner and on-throttle behaviour is absolutely mental a lot of the time. And then a lot of the slides just feel kind of canned or kind of sort of passenger power slide rather than an on-throttle controllable slide. Force feedback as well, basically the same as the previous version. Huge vague centre with lacking detail for the initial turn-in. Once you've got on brakes and it's loaded up, you can feel stuff and there's a force there, and if the back's coming out, there's aggressive self-aligning. But again, when you get on the throttle, when you're trying to feel more subtle details, absolutely useless force feedback. No force feedback for understeer in terms of a range of force as well. So absolutely terrible compared to the previous Assetto and even other simulators for that. Good force feedback for track bumps, rumble, vibrations, understeer vibration, ABS vibration, all those basic vibrational things. Those are really good. But you know, you'd expect that from games from 20 years ago anyway. Stuff like AI, and if you're going to do offline racing with single player, the AI is still absolutely atrocious. It's worse than modded shader patch AI in the original AC. Worse than many games AI. I guess it's passable if you were a really slow driver, but you know, look at this. It's a convoy of cars. They're really dumb AI. They don't really make moves on you. So yeah, that's not changed. So, really, all in all, EVO as it is now, I would say, you know, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. Better than the basic driving and stuff is better than Gran Turismo and Forza in terms of force feedback. Really good quality of models and things and content. But the issues are, right now, the performance of the game on lower end systems means that a lot of people just can't really play it properly. The online stuff is very basic and a bit of a chore to use. The single player is basically pointless because the AI, I say single player, but the offline play against AI, basically pointless. And the physics are potentially quite interesting in some ways, but has the massive on-throttle physics behaviour issues combined with the total lack of understeer force feedback and force feedback detail that older Assetto Corsas have had. So, as it is right now, there isn't really much reason to be playing this title. And I think this is kind of the crux of EVO, right? I think a lot of people were, like, excited that it was going to have some kind of single player, something different, something to do, almost a Gran Turismo, maybe not as good as Gran Turismo, but a Gran Turismo or some kind of single player type thing, but on PC with more realistic physics. And now that that's not there, is not going to be there, and people don't really know where they're going to go with it, that kind of interest in the game for that potential has gone. And now that you have in other titles like LMU, iRacing's always had it, Race Room, you now have pretty good fleshed out ranked multiplayer racing for people that want to do sweaty hot lapping. Now you've got that in those titles. and the fact that Evo's multiplayer is still not really integrated properly and doesn't really make much sense. Basically, you just really don't have much of a reason to be playing Evo right now. There might be a group of people that happen to enjoy how it feels to drive and that ignore the lack of force feedback detail for understeer and don't mind the on-throttle behaviour. And maybe people with faster computers can enjoy the graphics. But generally speaking, Evo is kind of in a state. The thing is, they've obviously put a lot of work into it, and there's lots of detail, and there's some really great stuff in there. But just from a sort of what is the point of this simulator perspective, it's a bit lost on myself in many ways, but lost on everyone, really. Maybe that's fine in early access, though. Maybe, 0.5, it's only halfway there as far as numbers go. Maybe that's fine. Maybe it has to find its purpose. But as of right now, there doesn't seem to be much of a purpose to this. And I'd say, if you want to do your online racing, burn money in a fire and play iRacing, do cheaper and experience the dullest handling and force feedback known to man in LMU, but good online racing, or do some exciting but rather dated graphics engine and physics engine online racing in Race Room, and you'll have fun online racing if you want to do that. And if you want single player stuff, well, tough. Tough. Play Wreckfest 1, that's actually really, really good fun. If you want to do the general simulator thing, BeamNG, absolutely amazing as a modding platform and just fun as an entertaining simulator. And then, of course, the original Assetto Corsa. If you've got a VR headset and you want to do realistic, high-quality racing, but with your own servers, with mods, with random cars, random tracks, AC1 is just on another level. Grab AC1 Ultimate Edition, get Content Manager, get Pure, and then you can head over to overtake.gg and drag cars and tracks into it and have a bloody good time. Or join our races that we host. With our server has links to the tracks and cars you can grab for free, and it's so fun. It's so fun, AC1. It's very hard for new titles, I think, to compete with that enjoyment factor. But yeah, so that's it really. I think this, not a bad update necessarily, but really why? What is going on with this title? I think it might find its place eventually. I hope they address the force feedback issues. I hope they address the physics issues. And biggest of all, I hope they address the performance issues. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, guys. So make yourselves a Olympic swimming pool sized cup of tea and sip it with a very small straw. And maybe when you've finished drinking that and refilled it 3 times, that this will be something to get excited about again. No, there isn't any free roam yet. Maybe that will reinvigorate people, but I don't. Again, you can do that in AC1 already. So why? I don't know. So yeah, there you go, guys. It was an anticlimactic update with some nice graphics, some nice cars, nice looking tracks, but no real point to be played over other simulators. Welcome to Assetto Corsa EVO 0.5. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed this update. Click the like button. Let me know how joyful or sad you are in the comments section, and I will ignore what you type. Till next one, happy tea drinking, take care, and goodbye.